Hi, I'm Jaimee Andreessen, a work-at-home mom passionate about helping entrepreneurs like you build a thriving laser business. Whether you're just starting out, looking to grow, or ready to scale your business, this podcast is for you. We'll dive deep into the world of lasers and other machine crafting equipment, cover topics like business strategies, mindset shifts, customer experience, and creative inspiration. I'll share my own experience navigating business with young kids, building a successful shop. Get ready to learn, grow, and have some fun. Welcome to Party with a Laser. Hello. Welcome back to episode number 2 of Party with a Laser. Today on this episode, I am going to share with you some of my favorite items that I have purchased for the laser. In this episode, I'm diving into the things I have bought and actually use every day in my laser business. This isn't just a list of random purchases. These are the items that have truly changed my routine, brought me joy, and made a difference in how I run my business. From impulse buys that I can't live without to surprising finds that exceed my expectations, I'm sharing them all with you. I have broken it down into 5 sections: safety, small knickknacks at work, time-saving items, supplies to clean the laser, and project-specific items. So let's get started with safety. First things first, if you're going to have laser, you really need to have either a fire extinguisher or a fire blanket or both. Lasers can catch fire. That's just it. So it's best to be prepared. I have a class ABC fire extinguisher. However, if you can have a halotron or a CO2, that would be a really nice thing to have because they don't leave the layer of residue that the ABC fire extinguisher will leave on it. You also need to have a fire blanket. I have the Prepared Hero fire blanket that I keep next to the laser. It's honestly best just to have both because if an emergency happens, you want to be prepared. Also, make sure that you're checking your fire extinguisher at least once a year, if not more, to make sure that it is still in good working condition. The last thing you want is to grab that fire extinguisher and realize that it's no longer working. The next item on my list is an air purifier. I have a Blue Air Pure 211 Max with a smoke block filter. I bought it about 2 years ago, and I always have it running whenever I have the laser going. There's been a couple of times over the years that I have forgotten to turn on my external air exhaust, and this air purifier has been able to clean the air in less than 10 minutes and get it back to before I accidentally turn on the laser without doing that. This is one of my absolute favorite purchases, and I highly recommend it if you or anybody else in your house is sensitive to the smells. This really is one of my favorite purchases I have made. The filter on mine lasts about a year before I have to change it, so that is definitely a plus. If you do get an air purifier, check and see how often you're going to have to be replacing that filter. The next item I recommend is latex gloves or some type of gloves to keep your hands clean whenever you go to clean the laser. I will use them for cleaning the laser, for projects. If I ever have to spray paint or stain, I will put on the gloves just to help protect my hands. The next item may not necessarily be safety, but I've got ahead and added it here, but it's an air compressor. Not all lasers can use an air compressor, but if your laser can, I highly recommend it. It really helps just blow away the smoke from your project and keep some of that extra smoke away from it, which could help with preventing fires. It also really helps with keeping your project cleaner, but it depends on what you're using. I love to use it whenever I cut wood to keep everything moving and blowing, and it helps prevent some of the char on the wood. The last item I have under safety is safety glasses. Use the ones that came with your laser, or if they didn't come with a laser, do some research and see if you need to be using them. But check your laser and make sure you are using the correct glasses for your laser. And that's it for safety. My next category is small knickknacks that work. You know, the small little tools that make your life so much easier. Well, some of these turned out to be a total game changer. These are the ones that surprised me in the best way possible. The first one is a plastic scraper. I use the plastic scraper to remove the masking from my projects once I'm done lasering them. But another use I have found for the plastic scraper recently is when painting projects. So I will usually do 2 coats of paints on my projects, and I will paint the board first And then before I paint the second coat, I'll take my plastic scraper and I'll just remove any of the high points on it, like piece of paint that had a clot, or if a dust hair got in it, or just any part that might be a little bit raised. I will take the plastic scraper and run it across my board first to help even it out. I used to sand the boards before coat. However, I found that I like using the plastic scraper over sanding it because there's less mess. The next item on my small knickknacks at work is actually two different things. It's either going to be a plastic squeegee or a brayer. A brayer is a small handheld roller that was traditionally used in printmaking. I own both plastic squeegee and the brayer tool, and I'll use them both about equally whenever I apply my masking to my projects. I'll apply the masking either to the front of the project and then 3M or dual tie to the back of them, and use the plastic squeegee or the rubber brayer tool to apply it to get all of the air bubbles out. I originally started with the rubber brayer and then I moved on to the rubber squeegee. And I really find that I don't have a preference on which one I grab. The last item I have under my small knickknacks at work is something I actually found at the Dollar Tree several years ago. It is this plastic pick that is designed for the Cricut machine to weed your vinyl. It's just a little handheld tool that has like a small, almost like a dental pick at the end of it. And I use this thing for literally everything, from removing masking if I have like a stuck on piece to, since it's a nice little sharp point, if I'm gluing up a project and I have a little bit of glue that squeezes out, I will take this pick and I will run it along the glue line, especially if it's someplace that I can't reach, and then use it to like get the glue out of my projects. The magnets that I use for my bed to hold down my project pieces has a hole in them. So if I get the magnets stuck on my laser bed, I will use this pick to help pry it off of the laser bed. I will also use it to like poke through pieces of wood. Like if I cut it out and it's stuck on there, I can use it just to poke it out. This is just a small little knickknack that I love and use most days. The next category is time-saving items. Don't you just love hidden gems that you didn't expect to love as much as you do? These are the time-saving items or tools I totally earned a spot on my favorite list because of how much time they have saved me. The first one on the list is 3M or dual tied. Now, I was really resistant on buying 3M to start with because of the price. I was like, I can use glue, it's fine. Glue is going to work just as well. And now let me tell you, I am a believer of 3M. Just the amount of time it has saved me over the years. It is my number one tool under my most time-saving tools that I use. Both dual tied and 3M come in rolls or sheets that you can buy. To use 3M or dual tied, what you're going to do is you're going to apply it to the backside of your project, and then you're going to cut your project like normal. However, I will go ahead and slow my speed down by 2 millimeters per second whenever I have dual tied or 3M on the back. After your project is cut, you will remove the backside of the 3M or the dual tied and apply it like a sticker that you would anywhere that you have glue. And that's it. Once it's stuck on there, it is stuck and will not come out. So really simple, makes projects go much faster to assemble too. The next item I have on my time-saving tools that I use is masking. I will use paper masking on the front of my projects, especially if I've painted the board, just to protect the painting of the board. And this is going to prevent the smoke or staining from getting on the top part of my board. And it makes cleaning up the project way easier because you just have to remove it, the masking, once you're done. To apply the masking, you're going to use that rubber brayer or you're going to use that rubber squeegee, and you're going to lay it out, and then you're going to get all the air bubbles out, and then you're going to cut your project like normal. Whenever I have masking on a project that I'm cutting, I always watch it really closely because you really want to make sure that that paper masking does not come up because it could easily catch a fire if the masking comes up. The next item on my time-saving list is going to be black Gorilla Tape. So what I like to do is I like to use that plastic razor to get most of the masking off. And then I'll grab a piece of a black Gorilla tape to get all of the little tiny stuck on pieces of masking removed. And this is way better than picking at it with your finger. And you can just add the tape and the masking will come off really easily. It's such a time saver. Next up is a category for supplies for cleaning your machine. Here's a list of items that I use to clean my own laser. Now, each of the things that you need is going to be different depending on what type of laser you're using. But I will do a light cleaning every few weeks as needed. And then about once a quarter, I will do a full cleaning on the entire laser. And then about twice a year, I will clean out my inline fan as well. Your cleaning schedule will vary depending on how much you use your laser and what type it is. First up is lens wipes. I use these for really short spot cleaning for cleaning the lenses in the camera. And I will go ahead and grab a lens wipe about once a week just to wipe everything down. Small note, I don't actually use my camera, but for some reason I do clean it each time I clean the lens wipes. I'm not sure why, but... Next up on cleaning is microfiber cloths, Q-tips, and alcohol. I will use a microfiber cloth to wipe down the glass on the front of it, the top, the inside, just make sure everything is clean. And then I'll use Q-tips and alcohol to clean all of the little tight spots that are hard to reach. I'll use LA Awesome to clean out the tray. And I'll spray the LA Awesome on the crumb tray and then I will let it set. And then I'll take it outside and use the power washer and really just get off all of the dirt and debris and charring from the crumb tray. I let the LA Awesome sit for about 20 minutes before spraying it. I haven't ever soaked it in the LA Awesome. I will just do a good spray down and then power wash it, and it seems to work really well. While I have the crumb tray out, I will go ahead and take a shop vac and I will vacuum out the entire bottom of it and just get everything out. I'll take the rails out of it and use a microfiber cloth with the alcohol or the LA Awesome and clean out the railing as well. I actually have a new shop vac that I am loving. It is a 3-gallon rigid shop vac. I have it set up next to my laser and it just kind of lives next to the laser and I can use it as I am lasering to pick up the small pieces and just really keep it clean as I go. It is fantastic for if you have little tiny cuts, the small tiny ones, just to shop vacuum it out after you get done cutting. So just a small recap on my favorite cleaning products is lens wipes for the lenses and the cameras, alcohol or LA Awesome for the cleaning supplies with microfiber cloths and Q-tips, and then a shop vac for picking everything up. The last category is the project-specific items. These are items that, depending on what you're making, you may or may not need, but they're ones that I use daily for the most part, and for what I make, they are worth it. The first one is baby wipes. I use them for everything. I will use them for getting the char off the edges of it, just to do a quick wipe down, to cleaning up my project area. They are easy to have on hand and are something that I just grab multiple times a day. The next one is going to be a magic eraser. I use a magic eraser on my tumblers whenever I clean them, but I'm going to caution you to use the magic eraser with caution and just test it on a small area of your project before you start utilizing it. I'll also use LA Awesome Cleaner on the tumblers to really get them clean as I am going. But again, if you're going to use something like this, just do a small test cut. Recently, I've tried the LA Awesome on some leatherette and it really helped clean it up and make it shine really well. Next is going to be sandpaper. I love to sand, especially when you're using unfinished wood, the back of it to help clean it. And just if I have any extra charring on the back, the sandpaper can really make it look nice. Next is I bought some squeeze bottles to store my paint in. So I get all of my paint from Home Depot. I will buy the paint in the sample size and have them custom do my colors, but I hated storing all of the sample size bottles. So I ended up getting these 8-ounce squeeze bottles. I bought them off of Uline and I will pour the paint in it. It makes it really easy to see what colors I have, how much I have left. But I will warn you, I have noticed that the paint will start to clot if it sits for a really long time. So there's a couple of colors that I don't use a lot of that I seem to have these issues with. But as long as it's a paint color that I use a lot, I will put them in these squeeze bottles and then I can just squeeze on the paint onto my wood. And then I use a roller to roll it really quickly. And it makes painting boards really fast and easy. Another small tip is I will have a roller brush for each and every color. And then once I get done with it, I will just stick the roller in a Ziploc baggie, make sure there's no air in it, and I don't have to worry about cleaning it. It doesn't dry out. It's ready to go the next time. I don't have to clean it, and it just saves a ton of time. I also get these 10 milliliter metal tip bottles that I will put my wood glue in. In the past, I bought them from Michael's or Amazon, but they're just these little tiny bottles. I will add wood glue to them, and it makes adding wood glue very precise and easy to do. That way I don't have a lot that squeeze out over it. If you do get a small clog in your metal tip bottle, I have a dedicated needle that I just keep next to the bottle. And I will take the needle and I'll just clean out my metal tip for it. Really easy. It mainly does this whenever I leave the lid open. If you remember to shut your lid, you shouldn't have as many issues. But these are just a couple of the project-specific items that I love. There you have it. These are my most loved laser items. I hope you found some new favorites to add to your shopping list and that you love these amazing finds as much as I do. So thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I'll see you on the next podcast. Have a great one. And that's a wrap on the second episode of Party with a Laser. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to partywithalaser.com where you'll find show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, and so much more. If this episode was helpful for you, awesome. The greatest compliment I could receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on the podcast. Not only will this allow us to connect again on future episodes, it lets me know that I'm providing you with value, information, and helps other people find this content more easily. I'm truly appreciative of your support. Have a great day and see you next time.
BN. Have a great day. Bye-bye.